Never have I been more conflicted about an interview getting canceled
No, that's right.
than when Michael Busch was almost on the pod 2 years ago.
Yep.
Because we were super excited for that interview.
Obviously.
At that point in time, Michael Busch, a rising star with the Dodgers, one of the hottest prospects in all of baseball. So that was good. However, he was not on the pod that day because he got traded to the Cubs.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So I was sad we didn't get to talk to Michael Busch on that day, but I was so happy that he was now a Cub, and that has worked out very well, Jones, I might add.
Yes.
For the old Northsiders.
I've already said you will hear me less in this interview than any interview I've ever done here in this, because I really just the two of you could talk pretty much the entire time.
Well, and so I thought the way we do this is we just go through all 162 games from this past season, at bat by at bat.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to.
I remember all of them.
I don't doubt
No, it's just
Michael, we really do appreciate you coming by.
yeah. Well, I appreciate it. It's fun being back here. I know 2 years ago it seems like a long time ago, but it also seems like yesterday. I knew I threw a little wrench in some people's plans, but I'll have it for the better, and I'm glad to be in Chicago.
And now you're back as the featured speaker for the first pitch dinner. Is your speech written? Are you ready to go?
Yeah. I mean, as ready as I can be. Probably not the best, public speaker, but at the same time, it's been fun. One of the best parts about this is just having to really relive and rethink about like the memories of my time here and the impact that, honestly, the people in this campus really, had on me. And that's been enjoyable. So I'll look back, no matter how the speech goes. It's been one of my favorite parts.
All right, like an at-bat in the playoffs or getting up and doing public speaking in front of like 700 people or however many people are going to be at the first pitch dinner.
For sure, public street. and now that I can say that, like right now, and I think, to be honest, like you have so many at-bats throughout the year, you have so many things, your routine, the things that you're thinking about, and you can kind of rely on those. I don't public speak. I don't give too many speeches, so I have really nothing to like lean back on or trust something in, but been practicing a little bit, so we'll see how it goes.
Don't give away all your good stuff, but when you do think about your time at Carolina and you've been kind of reflecting on it over the last couple of weeks or however long, what does come to mind?
I mean, the first thing that always comes to mind is the people. Just, the people that I've been, have had a relationship with, the people that are some of my best friends to this day that I still stay in contact with. The people that I was with, for a lot of time when I was here, my coaches, the staff, just there's so many people that it just, I felt like I fell into, a group of people, a campus that you just don't fall into often. So just coming back here, that's definitely, the one, piece of it. But just seeing how, as I've gotten older and kind of experienced North Carolina from the outsider's lens, it's just the roots and like the foundation of how strong this place is really cool to see.
What does it look like from the outside? Like if you're looking back on it kind of from the lens you're in now, what's it look like and how is it different if it is different?
It isn't much different. I mean, coming back, it's like the same place. Obviously, there's a big giant house next to the Boschmer field now. And I was like, okay,
that's Adam's house.
That's a little different. But it's not too much different, but I think you experience it first, and then you're able to like, oh, like these guys are walking into like what I was experiencing. Because like coming here, I had no idea what Carolina was about. So then you get an idea of what Carolina is about, and then you get to see people. And I don't get back too often, but like even when I'm back a little bit or get to see the teams or watch the teams, how they're practicing, how they're going about their business, it's like, man, okay, like there's a reason for, 6 a.m. workouts. There's a reason for like, all these guys kind of going through what they're going through because I was once in their position. And then little things just like campus. Campus seems to get a little, it's kind of the same thing, but there's a big house next to Boschmer Stadium. Like little things like that are a little different now.
When you came to Carolina, you came from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
How did you go from Minnesota to North Carolina? What did you know about Tar Heel baseball that made you want to be part of it?
This is good. This will help me for my speech tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is like BP. This is what we're in.
You know what? You can just play this video tomorrow night.
That's all right.
Around and be like, y'all watch this. This is going to be good.
It would probably help. What was the question again?
Coming from Minnesota, what'd you know about Carolina baseball?
I didn't know much. I knew I really enjoyed baseball. I played baseball, hockey, and football growing up. Mainly hockey and baseball. But in the summer, like, you turn on the College World Series. I didn't watch many regular season college baseball games outside of like maybe Super Regionals. They're on ESPN, and then the College World Series. And at that age, like my age, when Carolina was, in it, it seemed like every single year, was kind of when I started to realize what baseball was about. So just watching their teams, and I do remember like the jerseys, but I for sure remember the white cleats. Nobody else had white cleats. Carolina did. And I was like, those are really cool. Like on top of the blue jerseys, they're really cool. So that was kind of like the first experience with Carolina. I was like, dang, that is really cool. And never thinking that I would have the chance to play there just because it seems so far stretched from my hands. But I was always a Carolina fan, both Carolinas, honestly. South Carolina, I remember.
We'll edit that out. We'll cut that out. Don't worry about
I
that.
don't know what that is.
When I was 12, we've grown up. But now being able to be here, yeah, it's kind of, that's where it started. But then, just the recruiting process is always complicated, and I didn't really understand it as I got older. But, a few connections here and there, and, next thing you know, Scott Jackson was up kind of just watching me play and felt like I was good enough to have a chance to play at Carolina.
You, of course, got to go to a College World Series as a player. You guys went in 2018. What do you remember about that experience, and what was it like to get there after being a young guy watching it on TV, years before?
Yeah, I mean the games kind of always went fast. The games I do remember them, but I don't remember them as well as I remember like the Super Regional and being able to celebrate and being able to hang out, and like that year. We started off that year pretty bad. I think we started off like 7-8, and just like you're doing that with your best friends who you show up to the field with one thing, and that was to just like try to win. Like that was the main goal. And so to be able to do that with your best friends throughout the course of the year, school gets out, you're going to breakfast, you're going to lunch, you're going to the field, you're going home, you're playing video games, you're hanging out. Like that stuff was enjoyable for a 19, 20-year-old kid. Like that was a lot of fun. So I remember that the most. But then, I think one thing just I've noticed throughout my pro career especially is like you get into the baseball games, and I have a tough time like remembering like a lot of it or a lot of the moments that I might be able to like rewatch. But, you just get caught up in competition, and you get caught up in the work and like what you're trying to do that day, which is totally fine for me. But I've learned a lot just like being able to like step back here and there and like enjoy those moments because they happen fast, happen really fast.
What happened to Michael Busch between your freshman year and your sophomore year? Because your freshman year numbers weren't fantastic, and there were some times you looked a little overwhelmed, and then you come back as a sophomore and you're like, I'm a stud.
Yeah, it's hard to point to my finger what that was. I felt like I didn't make like a huge change. I think I felt like I was always somebody who like I worked hard. I showed up, and I love showing up. And then I just worked hard because that's just kind of what you were supposed to do. That's kind of what my brothers, my dad, that's kind of what you were supposed to do. But I loved it. I loved showing up to the field. And I felt like that year was, it was probably the worst performing year that I've had in my career. But like it was also the most fun that I've ever had. And to be coming from Minnesota and then to being able to experience what I did that year. I mean, high school baseball in Minnesota is, you get 3 days or 3 months, and then, you go into summer and play Legion ball, and like you're with a group, but like you get to experience it with guys you're with every day year round. And then to be able to do it at University of Carolina, like we had a good team that year, and it was a lot of fun for me. But I learned a lot about myself, and just, went to the Northwoods League that summer and got a ton of at-bats, and just, I feel like continued to improve, continued to like gain a little more confidence. And, we had some really good coaches here from a hitting side. I think Coach Ruzbicki is, I'm not even going to say underrated now because he's done a phenomenal job since he's gotten here, but just a guy who works extremely hard, and he's still like the same coach. But he'll listen to you. Like he'll have a very good quality conversation with you. And, from a hitting side, I feel like that's shouldn't look down upon.
Excuse me. You knew Scott Forbes as an assistant coach. Now Scott Forbes as the head coach. Is he different in any way to you now that you come back and you see him and he's the head guy, or is he still just Coach Forbes?
Still Coach Forbes. I will say though, like the coaches definitely, you get a little bit of a different relationship with them post college, but Forbes is still Forbes, man. He's a stud. He truly cares about his kids, not only his kids, but like his team.
Sure.
Cares about those kids and making sure that they're doing the right thing, and they're preparing well, and they're just growing up in a sense. And that was, I feel like that's the biggest reason why Carolina is, he kind of maybe learned that a little bit from Fox, and just kind of holding that line of like, this is a game, and we're going to prepare like, we're going to win a national championship, but also like he cares about us as human beings, and making sure that we're growing up.
For somebody who obviously enjoyed, from all the things you said, kind of the team aspects of high school baseball and college baseball, how'd you manage that when you went into pro ball and all of a sudden there's this whole other element of the financial element, and also just there's some individualism there that is not as present in the other things?
Yeah, definitely different for sure. I still have, some of my best friends to this day. I've been to a couple weddings with guys that I played pro ball with. So like there is still that like human aspect of it, and you're spending a lot of time with them and you get it. But it's different. It's different than college when you're with these guys like all day, every day. And I think that for me, I really go back and like, I think that for me was like my faith really like grew in that time, because there was so much alone time. And like in that moment, I felt like I matured on the faith side more than I ever have. It was kind of like somebody who was just always there for me. When things were, you're kind of on an island when things aren't going well, and you're kind of on an island, and that's, I feel like, where I was turning to. And just over the course of time, I felt like I found more just confidence in that, and my faith, I feel like, from the personal relationship side, like really grew.
So Dodgers and Cubs, I mean, along with the Yankees, the three biggest brands in Major League Baseball. Is that hard? Has that been overwhelming at any point in time to have that level of spotlight on what you are doing?
No, Cubs fans are the best.
Yeah, they are. That's not. They actually are. A quick story before I get to that. I think Chicago fans are just tremendous. Talk about a fan base who like they know what's going on. And I don't know, I didn't experience a ton, with the Dodgers, was up a little bit, but
sure,
being in Chicago for some time, I know I can speak to it. They know what's going on. The game, I remember Shota got taken out. He was throwing a no-hitter in like the 6th inning, but his pitch count was really getting up there. And they sent him out for the 7th, and they probably knew he wasn't going to go the whole game, but like they sent him out for the 7th, and like the place erupted. I thought that was cool. And then last year, we were playing St. Louis, and I had come up to my last at bat with the chance to hit a single and get the cycle, and like I went up to that at bat, and it was like one of the coolest moments of my life. Just kind of like them cheering before I even like hit the baseball, and it was like, wow, that was pretty cool. They get the game, they're watching the game, they know what's going on. But from an overwhelming standpoint, it's been good. I haven't really like felt much of that. You do get the human element of guys, and like I still do love the competition and get wrapped up in that, which I think helps me, which blinds me probably a little bit to like everything else that's going on. But, there's definitely a lot more attention around those two teams.
All right. Our general manager, Chuck Schrader, is a big Cardinals fan. He wanted me to ask you if you have a personal vendetta against the Cardinals because of the terrific numbers that you have been able to put up against St. Louis.
To be honest, I'm happy to do it against anybody. Because
that's Paul Adam. Yeah.
Those numbers don't come around against a lot of people. But if you can, usually it's like pro ball is funny, and I think it gets just, you can see it much more in pro ball because you're playing 162 games. But like you're just gonna have a random month where you hit 500. You're gonna have a random week, and you're gonna have a random month where you hit 100. You're gonna have a random team where you hit 100 against. You're gonna have a random team that you hit 450 against. It's like, you just can't figure out baseball sometimes. But yeah, to do it against St. Louis was, I'll take that for sure.
Michael was too nice to say it. When he had the chance to hit for the cycle, the stinking Cardinals, Chuck, intentionally walked him. Intentionally walked him.
Like how you're speaking directly with Chuck here.
I hold him responsible for all decisions made by the Cardinals. A chance for the cycle. They intentionally walked him. It's okay. I'm over it. It's fine. Also, he hit 3 homers in the same game against the Cardinals. Whatever. You mentioned there's some months where you think you're the greatest player in baseball history, and there's some months where you think you are the worst player in baseball history. How have you figured out how to just maintain a daily level that never gets you too high or too low?
I think right now, like, that confidence in my faith is like kind of taking me to the next level. I think growing up, it was found just like in my family. One of 8, and I'm the 7th, so I have a lot of older siblings, and I just felt like they were, I never was like too high or too low. Even now, like, whether I'm having a good month or I'm not having a good month, or in college, like wherever you're going, it's like everything's going to be okay regardless. And so it was like the competition part of it, and like just showing up every day. I think my brothers kind of like, I grew up in that type of environment. So I think that just like really helped me to be like, I want to be a good teammate and I want to win. And like doing those, I get frustrated. I get really frustrated a lot. But like being able to hold that in and just kind of like, go about my day without it really affecting my life, if that makes sense, is like kind of been important, and something that I kind of, thank my family for that one, especially growing up.
All right, I'm going to let Adam have Cubs Corner here in just a second, and just let him fire off 3 or 4 questions in a row for whatever you guys want to talk about. But I do want to ask this. Like, is it still cool? Is it still like at any moment are you like, I am sitting here in the batter's box in Wrigley? I mean, is there, do you ever have any thoughts like that anymore, or is it just you're out there doing your thing?
No, definitely not. All right, definitely do like have those moments. I try to have them more often than I have, just because like you get caught up in just competition, and you're out there trying to win and do your job and all that, but like also like stepping back and like realizing like this is pretty cool, like this is pretty awesome. And I've done a better job of that as of late. But on the game 1 against the Padres this past year, when Seiya hit that home run, I was just sitting there. It was like I just enjoyed, like, he was going around the bases, barely could hear, and I was just like, I'm gonna enjoy this one. But like, you don't want to, like, you gotta get back to it and like make sure you're getting ready for at bat and like focus on defense. Like, there's so much going on throughout a game that you have to like prepare for, that I feel like has helped me become a better player, that I don't ever want to lose. But like also I don't want to live this life and like not like sit back sometimes and be like really thankful for where I'm at.
Sure.
7th of 8 kids. Did you get beat up a lot?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Usually by Logan, my oldest brother. No one else really kicked my butt, but yeah, he beat me up quite a bit. Mom was my best friend for that reason.
Maybe that's why you got beat up a lot.
Yeah. My mom always had my back.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll do Cubs Corner. Playing at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
You've played in hundreds of ballparks all over America. What's different about Wrigley Field?
The atmosphere, for sure. The atmosphere, I mean, going back to the just knowing baseball, understanding baseball, they get it, they love it. But I think just like Monday night, Tuesday night, it's packed. You don't see that like anywhere else. Regular season game in July, it's a Monday night against whoever, and it's like it's packed. And I think that's the difference. The community around it, it's not downtown in the city. It's not like in a Chapel Hill neighborhood, but it's like in a neighborhood area, and you got bars and people just like kind of around the stadium, which I think creates like a super like cool environment for the fans. I mean,
I always kind of try to explain to people what the Cubs mean to Chicago. So now that you've been there a couple of years, like, it's not quite a college team, but what is it, and what does the city feel like when the Cubs are playing well?
It's rocking. Yeah, I remember in 24, my first year, like we were like we started off hot, and then we kind of struggled for a little bit. We were like kind of just out of the playoff race. We might have been like a few games out, and then all of a sudden we like won a few games, and we kind of climbed back into the playoffs. And Wrigley was already jumping because they're always jumping, but then like you kind of jump back into the playoff race, and you kind of know that you do because like the fans, I mean, they're just a little louder. They're just like showing up a little earlier. And then playoffs come around, and it was like from pitch one to the last inning, it was just chaos, like controlled, enjoyable chaos, which was amazing.
You talked about enjoying the moment from time to time. When everybody's singing "Go Cubs Go" and they're waving the W flags, do you ever look around?
Adam's saying "Go Cubs Go." By the way, the earlier portion of the podcast.
Yeah, because you were coming. I mean, come on, we got to do that. Do you ever look around like this doesn't happen anywhere else?
For sure. Not always, because like I haven't been everywhere else, but like I know and have heard and experienced other places that like it doesn't happen everywhere else. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we get like sick of it. Like that's the plan, is to like hear the song too much. But yeah, when I go home and, you know, my dad or my brother or niece or nephew are singing "Go Cubs Go," it's like, it's a little catchy. And then they got the lights and they got I mean, I think one thing like the Cubs fan base, one thing I'll never forget is my first year in 24. It was like the first month or two, we were in Seattle and we had won the series on a Sunday. And for some reason, I don't know why I didn't notice it before, but like we were in Seattle, which is probably like a 5.5 hour flight. And all of a sudden, like, so I'm first baseman, so I'm like kind of staring into the outfield, waiting for the outfielders to come in to like give them a high five before I turn around. Like I turn around and you just see like a wall of W flags in Seattle for away. I was like, these people, they love it.
You've played, I'm sure, with players who you feel like might have more raw talent than you, but they're not playing baseball anymore. What makes a difference to somebody being able to do it every single day on the level that you're doing it? How do you figure out that guy might have more raw talent than me, but I've figured out how to do this for 162 games?
Yeah, I don't know if I can point myself somewhere, because I do think like God gave me some, you know, pretty good abilities to play this game. But am I going to sit here and say that I've got the best raw talent? Absolutely not. I think there's been guys for sure that have had more talent. But I think a common theme amongst guys that I've seen that are playing in the big leagues for a long time is like just consistency. I think the ability to show up every day, no matter if it was a good or bad day, and like not ride the big roller coaster. Now everybody, I feel like, rides the little roller coaster or a medium one, but like some of the best ones I've seen, it's like they're able to like flush it and come back. Like the highs are never too high and the lows are never too low, and they just have like that consistency to them that like I feel like I've had, but definitely could get better at. And I feel like that's kind of like the kicker in baseball. There's probably a few other things, but I think that if I had to put my finger on one thing, that would probably be it.
Who's in that clubhouse? Who's that way?
Dansby's really good at that. Ian Happ's really good at that. Kyle Tucker was, I mean, I could go down the list. Nico's like really good at it in his own way. He really knows what he needs. But like he never really like fluctuates emotionally. Even Pete Crow Armstrong's like really good at that too. He's probably a little more, you know, hot. He's a little more emotional, but like has the ability to like bring it back down the next day and like attack the day like nothing happened. So I think there's quite a few guys that I've seen and been around that it's pretty impressive, because sometimes I feel like I'm, you know, all stirred up, but like at the same time they're probably a little stirred up. They just maybe know how to navigate a little bit better.
All right. 2 more things, at least for me. Do you ever hear someone heckling you? Do you ever hear them?
I'm afraid of this answer. Say yes. Probably have to tell a story about it.
Sure. Yeah. Sounds pretty good.
I've heard a lot of stories about like some pretty nasty stuff or just like always getting heckled. I haven't had anything like bad. I know I've a couple of times, like you walk up to an at bat, you know, 0 for 3 with 2 or 3 strikeouts, like, and the guy behind you knows what's going on. Like he's gonna let you know that you might strike out 3 or 4 times. You might hear that, but nothing crazy.
All right. In this journey that has been Michael Busch's baseball life, what part has Carolina played in that journey?
They play a large part. I think I'm just so grateful for the people that I've had in my life when it comes to like sports, like the coaches, my teammates. I really do feel like I'm just blessed to have a lot of great coaches and teammates. I think when I came to Carolina, it was just like top notch. And in a time in my life where I'm 18 years old trying to figure this thing out, like I had the best of the best. I had a great head coach, I had a great assistant coach, a great hitting coach, I had great teammates. I feel like I kind of just hit the lottery with like the people, and not even from a baseball side, but I just felt like I grew up so much here, and to this day, having those connections with these guys and pushing forward in life, it's the best thing ever.